Hi, welcome to Paranormal Kativity and happy October! I hope you're all very excited for the Halloween festivities. And congrats to all of my friends who are doing Vlogtober. I do not have the ability to do it. It requires time and I don't have much of that. Today, what I wanted to talk about would be old-timey games. Now you could call these games, you could call it divination, you could call it rituals. Either way, it's things that were done for entertainment purposes with a creepy twist for years. And a lot of things have developed over time. Biggest one being Bloody Mary, which I'd mentioned in one of my previous videos, how Bloody Mary started as like a way to foretell who your future spouse would be, and now it's you say Bloody Mary 3 times in a mirror and somebody's gonna like murder you. Totally different thing, but it had an origin that was a little more innocent. A lot of these scary games happen to be about finding your future spouse. It's like a super hot topic to do at Halloween parties back in the day, but regardless, if you want to have some fun this Halloween and you feel like having more of like a vintage vibe about it, here are some different games that you might want to play. The dough test. Sounds lame. It's kind of fun though. Take flour and water, mix it together until it becomes dough. So they write down a bunch of names of single people they know, roll them up in little balls of just paper and ink or, pencil, whatever. Roll it up, stick it in the dough, mix the dough together, and you have your own like dough ball with the names that you've written down. Then everybody throws their dough into water and they wait. And over time, the dough will start to break apart and some of the names will become free from the dough. So the first name that you can actually visibly be able to read what the name is supposed to be your future spouse. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Super fun game. I'm sure if you guys have watched The Craft, they make it super scary. A lot of people think that it's some type of levitation, but really what it is you're just having somebody lay flat with enough people. You place 2 fingers underneath that portion of the person, saying your chant, and you can slowly levitate them up. And you're supposed to be able to pull your fingers out from underneath them, but you can't really. Originally, that game had a different chant. It wasn't just light as a feather, stiff as a board, which is what I knew of. The original chant goes as such. Here's a dead body, stiff as a stick, cold as marble, light as spirit. Lift yourself in the name of Jesus Christ. And then that's when you would lift. Now it's just light as a feather, stiff as a board. Either way, game still works the same, and it's still kind of fun. Did you know that bobbing for apples was a way to kind of predict marriage too? I never knew that. Apparently you get like the big bucket of apples, everybody'd be trying to get apples at the same time, which, is not that hygienic, but it's still something that's happened for years. And the first person to get an apple is supposed to be the first one to get married. And then depending on your apple, if it's like a crisp, fresh, delicious apple, that means you're going to have a really lovely marriage. And if it ends up being kind of a gross apple or it's like rotten or mushy or something, then you will not have a very happy marriage. Apple pairing kind of reminds me of Bloody Mary, and it's equally creepy and fun. It involves sitting in a dark room in front of a mirror with a candle. Does that remind anybody else of the dimensional jumping video? Because it did me. So you sit there and you hold an apple and a paring knife. So make sure you're, of age and responsibility to be handling a knife in the dark. So what you do is you stare at yourself in the mirror and slowly peel the apple. In the mirror, you're supposed to be able to start seeing your future spouse's face. But there's a risk that you will see a skull instead. There's a game called nut burning, which would be fun at like some type of bonfire or cookout if you go to one for the holiday. What you do is everybody gets a nut and you name your nut after yourself and then you throw it onto the hot coals from the fire. Now what's supposed to happen is if like you watch your nut, everybody else watches their own. If your nut ends up resting against somebody else's and they like burn together and just kind of weather down, that's supposed to mean that you guys will have like a friendship till the end and you're gonna go through everything together. If you end up having a nut that pops away from another nut, then you and whoever else's nut it was that it jumped apart from aren't supposed to have the best friendship in the end. The last one would be super fun to do at a Halloween party, in my opinion. It has 2 different names. I've seen it written as Halloween pudding or cake charms. Basically what you do is you bake a certain type of fruit cake and you hide objects in the cake. Now, you can either pick your own objects and give them symbolism of your own and just have some kind of chart or key so you can see if you got a certain charm in your piece of cake, what it means. But one of them actually had a guide of what different objects you could hide in your cake and what they would represent. So I'm gonna read those off to you. A ring would represent marriage within a year. A penny would represent wealth within a year. A thimble would mean that you're going to be an old maid or a bachelor. A button means that you will soon find a sweetheart. A key means that you will take a journey. And then of course any other symbols or items that you want to give any representation to, you could. You hide all of these in the cake, and then in one of the ones that I read, the cake is served precisely at 9 p.m., cut by the oldest person at the party in complete silence. The person who cuts the cake, if they end up being a female, are either called Mother Halloween or Dame Halloween. Can somebody just call me Dame Halloween anytime? Because that's the best title for a person ever. So I hope you guys enjoyed hearing some of these different old-timey forms of entertainment that were done for years and years and years during this time of year. And I hope that you guys enjoy the holiday season, the Halloween holiday season. And if you guys have any other ideas of creepy old-timey games that you want to share, leave them in the comments, because I'm sure I want to read about them and so does everybody else who's here. So thank you. If you did not enjoy hearing about the old-timey games, you can always leave a thumbs down. That way I can keep it in mind for the future. But if you did, a thumbs up would be wonderful. If you haven't yet, please subscribe and turn on notifications. That way you get notified every time I make an upload. I'm Kat, and this is Paranormal Kativity. Have a strange day. Bye! Allergies.